Welcome to the Activated Storytellers 88th podcast, February 2009.
This episode, we bring you the story of Anansi and the Yamhills, a story from Jamaica.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly, and together we are
the Activated Storytellers.
We are coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. And we've kind of been meandering our way through Florida, and we're reluctantly starting to head north. We will be migrating north to perform in Mississippi and New Mexico. Those shows are coming up. And this month, we are celebrating Black History Month.
And Library Lovers Month.
And this month for Library Lovers Month, our friends over at myownbook.net are doing a special program, and they're calling it Share the Love of Reading, and they're inviting everybody to get involved. It's pretty easy to get involved. All you have to do is buy a book, read a book, and give it to a child. They recently won a grant from Best Buy over at myownbook.net, and their grant helps them pass out books to kids. So if you need some help with that, if you have a group or anybody else wants to get involved with that, go on over to myownbook.net, and you can read all about their program there.
Also, Read Across America Week is coming up. Read Across America Week coincides with Dr. Seuss's birthday.
Actually, I think that's how it started. Dr. Seuss's birthday is March 2nd, and so they've turned it into a whole week of celebrations. Now, of course, Reading Across America, that's what we do all the time.
That's right. We're always in motion across America, and we're always reading, and we're always helping. We're always encouraging other people to read.
Yeah, what we like to do is kind of hop from bookstore to bookstore to bookstore and library to library to library and read. So now everybody gets to help celebrate Read Across America Week. That'll be the first week of March. And speaking of Dr. Seuss, I've been listening to really great musical lately. It's Seussical the Musical.
Oh, I haven't heard that yet. I still have to listen to that sometime.
I highly recommend it. I'll share it with you. I love it. They've got... Horton Hears a Who is the main character. He's the elephant.
Do they have the Lorax?
They mention the Lorax in it, but I think the main focus is on the elephant, Horton, who hears a who, and they kind of incorporate all of the different stories and intertwine them, and I think they've done a fantastic job. I picked that up at the library. That's Seussical the Musical. You know,
the Dr. Seuss book that I really liked as a kid, and I had no idea that it was Dr. Seuss until years later, The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins. I loved that story when I was in about the third grade.
Okay, so everybody's got a favorite Dr. Seuss story, and so we hope that everybody has fun celebrating Read Across America Week. That begins the week of March 1st, and Library Lovers Month is going on right now. That's for February. So lots of reasons to get out there, read, and celebrate. We do have our story coming up soon, Anansi and the Yamhills. First of all, we do get a lot of questions about how we keep up with business on the road.
Well, it's a lot easier now than it used to be when we first started out, let me tell you, because we had no computers then, no internet access. There was hardly any such thing as internet then. We didn't even have a cell phone.
Yeah, I remember having to carry around pockets full of change to make a phone call. Of course, back then you could actually find a payphone. But we do have a lot of tips and advice if you are mobile, and more workers are mobile nowadays. Maybe not as full-time traveling as we do, but it's so much easier, and there's so many tools available now that make work on the road and life on the road a lot easier. And one piece of advice we have is for mobile workers is we use KALL8 for our voicemail. We have an 800 number that's, we've had it ever since we went national.
And we used to pay, I think it averaged out to something like $50 a month for voicemail for our 800 number. And now we switched to KALL8, Call 8, and we only pay about $4 a month now, so quite a difference.
Yeah, seriously, we save that much money. So that was a good move, and that's really easy to sign up for online. And then we get our voicemail is delivered to us via email, so we have a constant record of it. It's on our computer. Really easy to access. Of course, we can call in and get the voicemail messages as well. So we get to keep our 800 number, and that's the one we've had since day one. So it's very important for us to be, being as transient as we are, that people can reliably get a hold of us and know that they can reach us at any time. And we always make a point of returning phone calls within an hour because there's really no reason not to.
Used to be when people called that number, they got our pager. Remember what those are?
Yeah, and it died. That's the other reason we finally had to get another service is that pagers, it wasn't working anymore.
And as far as doing internet work on the road, if you have a laptop, you can get online at a lot of cafes like Panera. They have Panera at a lot of places across the country. So you can go and spend as long as you want to there with your computer doing your internet work.
Well, this is also Black History Month, and so we have a story that's going to tie in with Black History Month. First, a little bit of history about Black History Month.
Well, Black History Month has been around since, how long would you say?
60s?
Actually, Black History Month was established in 1958, but the beginnings of it go back even farther. The beginnings of it go back to 1926, but it was just 1 week then. It was called Negro History Week, and it was established by a black historian named Dr. Carter Woodson, who he didn't even go to high school until he was 20 because he'd been working in the mines. But when he did go to high school, he got a PhD from Harvard in only 2 years after he went to high school. But he noticed in the history books that they really didn't give much credit to the contributions of African Americans. So he decided to help remedy that situation. And one thing he did was he started this week, which later, a few years after he died, unfortunately, became Black History Month.
And you really do need a whole month to celebrate all the contributions that African Americans have made to our society.
And the reason that the week and the month were set in February is that February is the anniversary of a lot of things. Well, originally there were 2 reasons. February has the birthdays of 2 people who were very important in the history of African Americans in this country. One is Frederick Douglass, and the other is Abraham Lincoln. But there are also many other dates in February that are relevant to African American history. February 23rd, 1868 was the birthday of W.E.B. Du Bois, an African-American historian who, along with Dr. Woodson, founded the NAACP on February 12th, 1909. February 3rd, 1870, 15th Amendment, which gave African-Americans the right to vote. February 25th, 1870, was the swearing in of the first African-American U.S. Senator, Hiram Revels. Later on, after Black History Month was established, a couple of years later, February 1st, coincidentally, was the date that they began the sit-in at the Woolworths counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. Big milestone in civil rights.
Right, so we are celebrating Black History Month this month. So in celebration of Black History Month, we're going to bring you Anansi and the Yamhills. This story was suggested by Tara Netta. He's a friend of mine on Twitter, and you may be familiar with Twitter. It's where you get to type in 140 characters and kind of just tell everybody what you're doing or keep up with everybody. You might have seen it featured on CNN. They've had some coverage of it on CNN, and so I don't know. I'm addicted to Twitter.
The president twitters, doesn't he?
He did as he was campaigning. You could follow him as he was campaigning. Now the First Lady is twittering, as it were. So you can find out exactly as things happen, when she's in the news.
That's great. We're finally in the electronic age. We have a president who twitters.
Yeah, couldn't separate him from his BlackBerry either.
Well, I think he finally had to give that up for security reasons.
Well, he actually can use it, but he has to have just a certain number of people that he can actually email. So this week's story is Anansi and the Yamhills.
One time, Anansi started to work in the field, breaking up the ground.
Hey! Yeah!
And after clearing up his field, he dug 9 yamhills. Obviously, he really dug those yamhills. Now, it was considered very bad luck in those days to count up to 9. And because it was such bad luck, if somebody said 9, they would drop down dead, just like that. Good thing it's not bad luck today. Baseball teams would never survive a game.
My yams are not ready to eat yet, and I'm hungry. What am I going to do?
Anansi liked to eat meat, and Anansi was a trickster. And so, when he saw a big hog approaching, he got himself an idea.
Here, piggy, 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 piggy. Here, piggy, piggy, piggy. Here, piggy, here, piggy, piggy.
Oh, I love that muddy water. Oh, here, Mr. Anansi. What on earth's the matter with you, anyway?
Oh, Brother Hog. I need to count my yamhills. because my tax return is due. But I just can't seem to count that high. I don't have enough legs to count on.
Now, that's just like a silly little spider. You don't need to count on your legs. Just use bristles instead. Here, I'll count them for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And just like that, that hog fell down dead.
Yippee! I get to bring home the bacon tonight.
And Anansi took the hog home and ate him. But before long, he was feeling hungry again, and it still wasn't time to harvest the yams.
Oh, I am hungry, and I have no yams. Oh, what am I going to do? Hey, do my multifaceted eyes deceive me? Or is that a goat approaching? Yes, it is. I've never tried goat meat before. But I'm desperate. Pardon me, Mr. Spider. Why are you so sad? Well, things can't be that bad. Oh, Mr. Goat. I need to count my Yamhills, and I can't count that high. And I'm afraid that whatever I can't count is going to disappear. Well, if you don't mind me butting in, I say the counting hills is easy. Really? I kid you not. Here, I'll show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another one bites the dust. And I dine in style once again.
But it didn't last long, and before he knew it, he was hungry again. But he still had no yams.
Oh, they say you are what you eat, and I definitely am not what I am. Oh, who's going to be my dinner now?
Well, as it happened, a monkey sitting up in a tree had been watching when Anansi tricked the other animals. And Mr. Monkey decided it was time to give Mr. Anansi the spider a taste of his own medicine. What on earth ails you, Mr. Anansi?
Oh, Brother Monkey, I really need to count my Yamhills, but I don't know how. I never learned arithmetic because I spent too much time surfing the web. Do you think you could help me?
Well, it sounds suspiciously like the third phase of a classic folktale plot to me. Are you certain you want to proceed?
Oh, yes. Otherwise I'll starve because I can't count. Go figure.
Very well. If you insist, I'll just need you to sit on one of the hills.
Oh, why is that?
It's the new math. Straight from the math factory.
Oh, very well. Which one should I sit on?
Your last one. That is, how about the last one in the row there?
Very well. There, I am sitting.
I know, I can see that.
Yes, but anyone else who might be listening might not be able to see me.
Oh, I see. Very well. I shall now count the Yamhills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the one you're sitting on.
What? Oh, that's no way to count.
It's the only way I know.
But monkey math doesn't work for me. Now, please, try it again and see if you can get it right this time, huh?
Very well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one more.
No. What's the matter with you? Can't you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, no. No. Oh, no.
Yes, Mr. Anansi. No more victims to be victuals. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but be careful who you monkey with. And that's the story of Anansi and the Yamhills.
Currently, we are doing a story of Anansi Goes Fishing in our touring production that we bring around to stages at schools and libraries. And that is also available on CD. I know a lot of people listen to our podcast and they want to jump right to the story and just hear the story. Well, you can do that on our CD. And the CDs are now available at cdbaby.com/activated. There are 2 albums. There's No Fooling and Out of the Bag. And you can download those or order them on CD.
There are many Anansi stories that came originally from Africa and made their way to this part of the world. They tell them in Jamaica. They tell them, in the Southern U.S., they have variations of Anansi stories, and instead of Anansi, it's Aunt Nancy.
And sometimes he's a spider, sometimes he's a man, and sometimes he's a little bit of both.
That's right. He was the original Spiderman.
So if you're wondering how a spider ate a pig and a goat and he didn't get the monkey. The monkey got him there.
I think the moral of the story is be a vegetarian.
Well, I want to tell everybody about a new podcast that I have found. It's called The Program Room, and it's put out by Monty Harper. It's specifically for librarians who do summer reading programs and youth librarians working with children. But, I think it's really great for anybody to listen to that's working with kids. If you're, parents and teachers. Right now they're focusing on Be Creative at Your Library, because that is the summer reading theme for this year and for many of the libraries across the country. And this podcast is loaded with suggestions for activities for working with kids. You'll find them at theprogramroom.com. And just give you an example, recently they did an episode on theater games, storytelling, dancing at the library. And coming up, they're going to be talking with Karen Chase on how to build a storytelling club. And Dr. Michael Bitts is going to be on the show talking about the comic book project. And we, of course, have our own tie-in with the summer reading theme this year, the Be Creative at Your Library.
We're offering 4 new stories that are especially designed to stress the creativity theme. One is about a story about how the ice cream cone may have been invented.
The title is Triumphant Tales, Stories
of Creative Conquest.
So if you'd like to find out how to bring us to your library, we're doing a big national tour this summer. We're starting out in New Mexico, and we'll be ending up out in Massachusetts. If your library is somewhere along that route, all you have to do is print out a flyer. Those will be available on our website. Bring it into your librarian and say, hey, what about? And then they can contact us.
Yes, and to answer the question that many people have, yes, we do go there.
Yes, we do. Maybe not when we get around to it. We may not be there tomorrow, but we will get around to wherever you are. Upcoming, what do we have coming up?
Coming up, we have Mardi Gras in Mobile, Alabama. Now, they do have Mardi Gras in Mobile. In fact, Mobile was the first American city to celebrate Mardi Gras.
So we're looking forward to spending some time there. Upcoming shows, we are on our way to Mississippi. We'll be performing in Laurel, Mississippi on February 27th. That is a free show open to the public, and with any luck, we will be Ustreaming that live on the internet. That's if our technology cooperates with us this time around. That will be on Friday the 27th, and the show is at 6 o'clock, Laurel, Mississippi. From there, we are off to New Mexico, performing there for Read Across America Week. We have shows in Rio Rancho. I'll be doing my solo show, Audience Participation Tales in Rio Rancho. And then we are in Farmington, New Mexico for 3 performances with a 6 o'clock public show. So it's Rio Rancho's at 2 o'clock on March 4th. Farmington is March 5th at 6.
And from there, on to the West Coast to California. A bunch of shows in California in April.
And if you want to sign up for a KALL8 account, that's KALL8.com, just be sure you use our phone number as a reference. Our phone number is 800-429-6576. We'll get $5 credit, and you get to donate $5 to the arts. So if you want to try that out, please remember us. And you can find us on Twitter. That's twitter.com. Our username is Activated. We will have links in our show notes. And we're looking forward to seeing you next month. We have decided to do this podcast once a month. I know we started out weekly. We went to bi-weekly. We are now once a month. It's a schedule that we seem to be able to keep up with.
So we will see you in March.
If you'd like to request a story for our March podcast, you can do so by leaving us a message on Twitter or leaving us a comment on our podcast site. That's activated.libsyn.com. or calling us 206-426-0436 and leaving us a voicemail. Again, that's 206-426-0436.
Forward march.
The Activated Storytellers perform at schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use American Sign Language, physical comedy, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring the stories to life. For booking information, check our website at www.activated-storytellers.com, where you can also find out when the Activated Storytellers will be performing near you. Read a story or order one of our audio CDs. Until next time.